What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. And today, I've got a new story. So this story just started with first issue coming out, and it's called One for Sorrow, and it is a period piece. So this takes place in the 1900s in the West End in London. And a lot of things take place in London kind of around this time, if you know what I mean. But we are dealing with a killer known as the Magpie Killer. Now, the Magpie Killer is chasing down a man, and he is like, I thought that one, this was a myth, and two, like, we weren't trying to hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah. We all know that that's not true. Anyway, he goes in, and the guy's like, the Magpie Killer's like, you can't kill me, right? You can't hide from me. You can't run from me. And then he ends up killing the guy. The Magpie Killer, as we learn later on, is taking revenge for a certain activity that happened 10 years prior. So we are currently in the 1900 exactly, and this took place, whatever happened that he is taking revenge for, happened in 1890. Okay? Now we do go to the home of Arnold Sutton and his wife Rosamond, and they are having a medium come to the house because they are having a seance. Now this is a thing that happened around this time. They had seances all the fucking time, and it wasn't even like real seances either. It was definitely like fake seances with fake mediums, just trying to make money, and it was entertainment. Imagine that. Right? And then people have the nerve to be afraid of witches and wizards and shit. Anyway, so they have a woman named Anastasia who's completely covered, who comes to, make those house calls to do these house seances. And Rosamond wants to learn about her ancestors. So her being a medium and performing seances, she's like, oh, I can totally do that for you. So they go in, and she starts talking about the Magpie, and she's like, are you talking about the Magpie Killer? And she's like, the Magpie knows all, and the Magpie will get payback in full. And they're all kind of just like creeped out, but Miss Sutton's just like, I don't know, I feel disappointed. And Anastasia's like, oh, I'm totally sorry that we disappointed you. And when her and her assistant Lewis go back where they are in like private, they're just like, did you see them shaking in their fucking boots? So it's very clear that this is just like a fake type thing, and they go and do, Lewis goes and does research on Rosamond specifically, trying to get her to kind of like admit to something that has to do with her husband Arnold, who was not at the seance today. Meanwhile, we have a woman who works in a saloon named Bess Turner, and she is trying to make money, and like they do the saloon in shifts. So like a big party is about to come in, and her boss is just like, oh, Flo's going to be taking over that party, so you can go home. And she basically devises a plan with these two street kids to keep Flo out of there because she's gathering information for something. So she's gathering information for something, but she also wants some money. So she gets them to steal Flo's bike. Flo comes in, those two kids steal her bike, and they're like, is that not your bike? She goes chasing after the kids, and their boss is just like, where the fuck did Flo go? She's like, oh, these two kids like nicked her bike, so I'm sure she'll be back. She's like, I fucking told her to stop doing that. She's like, well, looks like you're getting payday after all. Bess, get your ass in there into the saloon and serve up the card game. So that is what she's doing. We are also introduced to a detective named Ignatius Thorne, and he has solved a lot of crime and murder. Not saying that murder is separate from crime, but different crimes and also murder. So he's reading the paper about the Magpie being the Magpie striking again, killing someone, and these two people come up, and they're just like trying to talk to him kind of about like his past as a detective and like asking him to come back, I guess. And he's just like, please leave me alone. And to be honest, that's perfectly fair. Please leave me alone. It's almost like Wyatt Earp when they're like, oh, we could use a sheriff, and he's just like, Leave me alone. So, following all of that, back here, Miss Bess Turner is working the game. She's serving up drinks, and she sees that one of them has actually cheated in this game. I believe they're playing poker, and he's dropped a joker on the floor. And she picks it up and she's like, "I think you dropped this," out loud for everybody to hear and see. And he's like, "Actually, no, I haven't. Get the fuck away from me." And he gets caught cheating and gets thrown out of the game. Now, one of the guys there, whose name escapes me, his picture and name will pop up on the screen, but he's like, "Hey, Liza," or Lisa, whatever their boss's name is, "that chick from last night." And she's like, "Oh, did Bess cause you some trouble? Because," and he's like, no, do you like trust her? Like, how much do you trust her? And she was like, I don't, but I do. Why? And he's like, "Well, I want her to serve at this private game that I'm having." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So her and, well, Bess and the man are down in the basement bar, where they're having this private game, and they're talking, and she's getting everything stocked up, and he's like, "I hope you're ready for this. This is big time for you." And Mr. Gallagher walks in. He's super fucking important, and they start playing and talking about things that should be secret, but she's not saying any words. However, she is listening intently. They start talking about different things, and like this giant snake. She does end up spilling a drink, kind of trying to insert herself into some kind of attention. And then she's like, "Are you talking about the basilisk? Something that a woman in this point in time should not know." And he's just like, "How do you know about that?" And he's like, "Well, she's definitely listening, but she's pretending like she's not listening. And that is a very valuable skill. Actually, I trust that. Somebody who's there, but pretending that they're not. I likes that." And so they're making that kind of a focal point for her. And she's very look in the mirror, wink, wink to herself type thing. Again, Anastasia comes to the Sutton's house, and Arnold is like, "Oh, I can't stay. I actually have to go to my bank because some fucking crazy person popped up in there and started robbing the place." It was the Magpie killer. He went in there looking through records, found Arnold Sutton's name, ripped out those pages, and dipped. So later on, we find out that Anastasia and Lewis are looking up information about Mrs. Sutton's great-great-great-grandfather, and they find all kinds of information on him, and they're just like, this is about to be some shit, okay? So after all of that is said and done, and Arnold is in his room minding his business, the Magpie killer comes in and is like, he's like, "Bro, you broke into my stuff and you like fucked up all my records." He was like, "Actually, I did it. I was just studying them. I need to know who I'm looking for. Who paid you to kill that family 10 years ago?" And he's like, "Nobody paid us." He's like, "So you did that shit for free? Like you killed them for free? Are you fucking kidding me?" And they're going yelling, screaming, hollering, and he's like, "You know what? You're just a man. I don't care." And he calls for his guard, who comes in firing his weapon, shoots the Magpie killer, and it goes through the Magpie killer as if the Magpie killer were a ghost. And the Magpie killer snatches the gun and is like, "This is a contraption." And the guy pulls out a sword. However, the Magpie killer takes the sword, slices his head off, slaps the shit out of Mr. Arnold, and then kills him and jumps out the window. Now, the Magpie killer then goes to another house, jumps in the window, and the person on the other side of the door is like, "Hey, Anna, are you good?" And Anna's like, "Oh, my bad. It's cool. The wind's fucking up my window. You can go back to sleep, Lewis." And it's actually Anastasia, who is pretending to be a medium while also pretending to be Bess Turner while also actively being the Magpie killer. Oh my God. I love this. Imagine. Oh my God. And basically, she's looking for revenge for the death of her family. And her ghosts, the ghosts of the people that she's like looking for revenge for, are surrounding her. She did get shot. She got shot in the arm. So like when he fired at her, it did go through her. It went through and through her arm. It just looked like nothing happened. She didn't wince. She didn't cry. Nothing. She didn't say ow. She bandages that shit right on up and is like, I got y'all. I got y'all. This is coming from a comic book company called DSTLRY. Let me tell you, I'm loving this. And I need more. The artwork, phenomenal. The characters are like, the story is already crazy. That is a wild fucking twist. Okay? A wild twist. Because just imagine, she's pretending to be Anna or Anastasia. Well, I don't think she's pretending to be Anastasia. I think her name might not be Anastasia. I think her name pops up on the page. I don't remember, but she's pretending to be a medium to get information on the Sutton family. The Sutton family seems to be at the heart of this. Mr. Arnold, who she just killed, but then again, he may not be dead. Who knows? And it's a group of people that have done this, and she has like her little detective board with Mr. Gallagher's name, Basilisk circled. She has Sutton's name on there, everything. She's trying to figure out who is responsible for what and why. And she is pretending to be two people to gather this information. And poor Lewis. I feel like Lewis is probably going to meet a very bad end. And then we have Mr. Thorne, who was introduced, who was a detective. I feel like they're going to ask for his assistance in these crimes, because he's really trying to stay out of it, but you can never really stay out of it. It's just ticking all the boxes for me. This was a fun read. That twist at the end, phenomenal. Oh my god, loved it. Cannot wait for the next issue. And that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office, and I will see you guys at your next checkup.